What is up, you all? We're back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Scott Chambers' new horror movie, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. Now, this comes from the same team that gave us Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, and soon to be giving us the Poohniverse. Now, I think that this definitely was different for sure. It was definitely different, and I would say that this movie, it caught me by surprise. I went in here, I saw the trailer, but I just was kind of blind. I didn't know what I was getting into, but we're definitely about to get into everything with this movie. Before we get into it though, definitely make sure you smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. So to get into this spoiler free, and we're going to end off with spoilers, I do want to say this movie felt like something that was fresh from the way of the traditional Peter Pan story. Like, I think with just seeing a horror movie that's based off Peter Pan is scary, because I always thought the story of Peter Pan was crazy, how he goes in the window, everything with the kids. I think he has one of the most twisted stories, and with them actually doing a Poohniverse, having these other characters cross paths like Bambi, Winnie the Pooh, Pinocchio, I think it's going to be crazy, and I think it's something, you know, different and new, like just taking advantage of that public domain. Now, pushing forward, I thought with this story, it was going to be something that was more on the supernatural side of things, but this comes out as like a raw slasher, like just like almost like a urban legend type of thing. Now, one thing I will say, at times I did feel like this movie was almost like just too similar to like Blackfall. I couldn't unsee Blackfall in certain scenes. That, I'm gonna just be honest. And the guy who plays Peter Pan, played by Martin Portlock, he is elite. Like, I really did get sinister vibes from him. I mean, he really played that role as a slasher to the max. But like I said, it does feel like Blackfall a little bit, just with him having the Neverland Nightmare van pulling up, and this whole story is about him kind of just like taking kids. You guys know the lore with Peter Pan, like he's taking kids, putting them in a van, and basically just promising them that he's going to take them to Neverland. But I feel like the pace that never picks up from there, for real. I mean, it does, but it's just not like it's like a simple thing. That's what I'm gonna just say. I think the story is very simple, and sometimes simple is better. In this case, I will say simple is better, because I feel like with a story like Peter Pan, you got to be real careful, because it's already, you know, a deep story with like characters like Tinkerbell and Captain Hook. So I think they just played it very safe. And one thing I will want to say, I love how this movie started off. It pulled me in immediately, you know, with one of these crazy scenes that I was not expecting. And one of the scenes in, you know, the earlier part of the film felt like it also. I'm like, okay, this feels like it, but it's almost like he's just paying, like, you know, respect to his favorites. Like, I think Scott was paying respect to like Ed and like the Blackfall. I'm pretty sure he's probably fans of them, because I saw that all in the film at that point where I'm talking about. Now, pushing forward, it's this scene where an environment is just like the circus, and you see like Peter Pan in like this different type of attire. I don't want to say too much about it, but he approaches someone and it kind of gives you like these eerie ass vibes, and then it kind of kicks up from there. And then we get like just like some crazy more stuff about the plot. Now, pushing forward, I really did enjoy the final girl of this movie. Her name was Wendy. I got invested into her early, and the little brother, he was great, but I think my favorite character out of this was Wendy. I think the little brother played that little brother role, like not just doing too much, and the other characters did good too. Now, like I said, pushing forward, it's a lot of crazy scenes in here that caught me off guard, like that were brutal, like that really kind of makes you just look away at times, like, because you could just feel it. You know, have you ever watched a movie and you just feel something through the screen? This movie definitely has those type of scenes, being one that's early on in the movie, then it's another one that's towards the end. I'm like, okay, this is really getting gory and brutal, which, you know, we gotta love it as horror fans. But one of the kills that's completed really threw me off, because I just thought this character was gonna like push through, but they didn't, and I think that was great writing from Scott Chambers, because I was really rooting for this character. Now, pushing forward, like I said, I think the whole story that they were trying to do, like this traditional twist on Peter Pan, it was done right. I just think with a Peter Pan story, you got the weapons to do a lot of supernatural things. You know, you got the weapons to do a lot of crazy, batshit crazy things. And I just think they were playing it a little safe. But I mean, I'm no one, because at the end of the day, I don't know the budget these people had or anything. But for them to kind of just put this crazy concept out, I really thought it was decent, especially, you know, just kicking off the year of 2025. I thought it was decent. I will say, I think Peter Pan's Neverland's Nightmare is probably going to be the best icon from this public domain that they're, you know, writing from, with like Winnie the Pooh, Bambi, Pinocchio, I think he's going to be the best. I think that this character, he just going to have a crazier background, but that's just my opinion. Overall, I will say this, you should go check it out, give it a watch. It's actually in theaters for a limited amount of days, being from January 13th to the 15th. It's, you know, it's a good time to, you know, to watch this. Like I said, it's not going to be the best horror movie you've seen, but it's fun. I will say that it's fun. I like the concept and the twist on the Peter Pan characters. Like, bro, Captain Hook is not the Captain Hook you're thinking, and Tinkerbell is not the Tinkerbell you're thinking. Definitely not Tinkerbell. Like damn near like Zelda vibes from Pet Sematary kind of. Like, it was just crazy. So yeah, guys, if you have not seen Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, you probably want to head out, but bust a U-turn once you see it. I'm about to get into some spoilers. Countdown from 3, 2, 1. With this movie, I literally went in, y'all, with just, you know, not knowing what's going on, but I will say the whole thing with Peter Pan, it really has some sinister parts in it, being like starting off that fucking kitchen scene and he kind of opens up the floor. I mean, it did feel like it, but it was still scary in its own way, how he was just hungry for the kid and then the mom comes out and the shit happens to his face. That was so brutal. That's what actually pulled me in. So great job to Scott Chambers and the team. I'm like, bro, this actually pulled me in from that little back and forth with the mom and Peter Pan. Now, pushing forward, it keeps going through this universe. I'm kind of really invested in like this little town with this bright ass red van, and he's literally abducting kids and throwing them in the back, telling them he's going to take them to Neverland. And we all know it's a horror movie, so obviously it's a twist on Neverland, so I kind of knew that. But I really enjoyed Joey's character. He was like that true friend to Michael and everything. You know, it was Michael's birthday and stuff, so I definitely thought that felt like an authentic relationship. But like pushing forward, like I said, it was just very simple. The story was very simple, and I feel like it was just playing it safe, just being like, we're not going to overthink the Peter Pan story, because you know it's fairies and shit, it can go crazy. I think just keeping it raw was them playing it safe, but I would have liked to see a little more, you know, volumes to it. But like the scene, okay, I was not expecting that scene when he gets on the bus and they see the aftermath of the kids in the woods. I'm like, oh, they're going dark. Like, they're trying to go dark. Like, they're trying to make this motherfucker really like he's that guy in the town. And they say, you know, in the movie, he's been doing this shit for a long time. And we see a scene where, you know, basically it's hella history on the wall about how long he's been doing this shit. The man's done got his Johnson cut off. I was like, what the fuck? I'm thinking like sausage swinging, and then it's like this motherfucker got, I don't know what the fuck was going on. But like I said, I think the back and forth, I was cracking up with the back and forth with him and Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell was played by Kit Green. Great acting. It was crazy, man. Had me invested. But like I said, man, probably my favorite part of the movie is the final act, being that back and forth between Wendy, Peter Pan, and having them little scenes with Tinkerbell and Michael. It felt like a real final act, and I had fun. Like, I had fun with this movie. That's the best way I can put it. Like, I just had fun with it. I just went in here not thinking too much, and I definitely think this was better than the Winnie the Pooh movies for sure. This one has me more invested in the universe of this story, and I can't wait to see what happens with it. I want to say this real quick. I think that maybe I'm wrong. If you know, the producer, Scott Chambers, the writers see this, let me know. Like, am I tripping? Like, I understand it's like Peter Pan story, but the shit with like Tinkerbell being like, okay, it said that the drugs was pixie dust, of course, but they're high as a fucking kite and everything, and he's seeing like shadows bounce off the wall and shit, like seeing a Peter Pan shadow bounce off the wall. We see the silhouette of him at the circus. It shows kind of like that iconic Peter Pan stance. I'm like, so is it like he just high on pixie dust? This motherfucker really thinks like it's a Neverland, and he's seeing the shadow bounce, like the silhouette on the wall. Like, it's showing us, that's basically showing us like all this shit is in his head. Like, he's not really Peter Pan. He's just a adult that's stuck in his little boy mindset like Peter Pan. He's never growing up, and he's just taking kids because of that. You know what I'm saying? He touches on his mom and everything in it. So I'm like, is it something like this, like drug addict ass twist? Like, I'm so serious. Like, I want to know, like, is it like a drug addict twist where they're just drugged out of their mind in the crib, and then like, bro, we're Peter Pan out this motherfucker? Like, they start off reading a book and everything, so I'm like, okay, this is really traditional. But once you see it, you start to notice like what the hell's going on? Like, I really love the Marco Polo segment though, with Michael and him, and he's like Polo with the mannequin. That was crazy. I did have some good scenes out of this. I will say this, like, I can't, you know, it does have its negatives, but like I said, it kind of feels like it's picking up from too many other movies to the point, like, it's seeming like it's a hat tip for sure, but it's almost seeming like a thing where it's beat for beat. Now I don't know if it's intentional or what, but it's like it's something we seen before. That's it. And it was like it was like recent. It was like, that's how I feel, like it was just recent, so we kind of can see it in Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. So I mean, maybe Scott Chambers is just a big fan of those movies, but like I said, it did feel different though. It wasn't like it was something like, oh, he's doing this. Nah, it felt different. Like, I think that's gonna grow on people, knowing like when you go in here, it's not that supernatural fairy type film. It's like a real raw slasher that just calls itself Peter Pan, or this motherfucker think he's Peter Pan, or is he Peter Pan? But at the end of the day, I was invested. I really was invested. I wasn't like one of those, like, man, I'm trying to get out the theater. Nah, I was like, okay. And, you know, get to the house with Joey's parents and she goes buku crazy. The kills are brutal. I hated like, bro, like, I'm not gonna lie, Scott Chambers, bro, you gotta fix that. Give her some wings or shit. Like, give him, like, you know, give him the wings. Give him wings, bro. You don't let him just chop the wings and shit. I want to see him come out, see Tinkerbell come flying by the window. Like, she got to come back flying by the window. Took the arms from it, and I really was invested in that character. So, you know, got to work something out, Scott Chambers. But overall, if I had to rate this movie, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, solid. I'll give it like a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. Like a 6.5. Like out of 10 type stuff. I'll give like a 6.5 out of 10. I feel like that is definitely more room in this story to be just immaculate and insane, and it was, you know, decent. I liked it. I was following it. But I think for sure that if they keep playing with this slasher and letting like the lore and everything kind of just go very prominent front line, this can be a banger. But for now, I'm gonna say 6.5. And great job, man. Great job. And you guys should go check it out. It's in theaters for the next 3 days. And after that, I think it's gonna be on VOD. So definitely check it out. But unfortunately, this is the end of the video. I want you guys to comment down below how you feel about Scott Chambers' new horror movie, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. Let me know down in the comments. Unfortunately, this is the end of this crazy video. I want y'all to hit me up on all my social medias at ILIKESCARY. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.